If you're not doing these three main marketing pillars to grow your business online, your business will not survive the digital revolution. My goal here is to bring you tons of value and demystify and simplify what you need to do to get orders online. The first pillar is to clarify, how you're getting business, how you're getting it now, making sure that you're clear about what you're doing. The second pillar that I'm going to go over is your social media, how you're doing that, how's the setup, make you understand that social media is a must. If you're not doing this right now, you're just saying, I want my business to fail. The third pillar is tracking and analytics. Tracking and analytics is so important because you need to know what's working. So my goal here is to deliver tons of value. My goal is to deliver actionable steps that will help you really amp up your digital marketing and get you to the goals and make some more money. Pillar one, remember, this is clarify. So ask yourself these crucial questions. Who's your customer? What's your pricing? What are your margins? How do you bill people? What platform are you using to take your orders in? Do you have a legit website, something that you can send customers to automate that process of selling online? Do you have an offer? Like, what is that offer? Like, what if you want this, do that? What's the offer that you offer your customers? I really want to touch on this stuff because if you don't know who your customer is, then we need to start there. This idea of who the customer is and how are you selling now is really important because we need to be clear. So for example, if they're coming to your store because you put something out, that's your current sales process. And that's what you can use to expand it online. If somebody walks into your store and offers you $20 for a t-shirt or whatever your service is, and you collect that, you provide them a service, that's your current order process. So in digital marketing, you want to amplify what's working. If you don't have a business yet, then it's something that you need to think about. Like, okay, I have this apparel brand. I have these images that are really cool. I'm going to put them on garments. I'm going to sell them somehow. And how are you going to exchange that money from the customer? So you really got to have that foundational step in mind. And now you want to build that offer, right? It's super simple, but we sometimes forget. The offer is, if you want to get this product, you got to go and do this. That way, people know that if they want to go get what you're offering, this is where they go get it. So think about it this way. The internet enhances what you're already doing. That's a super important thing, super important basic to understand. So people reach out and say, hey, how can I make some money? How can I give more orders? I'm going to look at the basics first, right? First, do you have a legit domain name, website address that you could send customers to? Like, don't say, oh, my domain name is, t-shirts.wordpress.com, right? Because it's not a professional way to sell, right? You have to have a clean domain name that says, hey, come buy my t-shirts.com, so that somebody knows, all right, you know what, this is a professional person. I'm going to go over here and, it's not just some fly-by-night site that was done on a free service, and I'm not saying the free services are bad. It's just, it has a different place. If you want to scale, it needs to be legit. The next part that needs to be really good is your site actually has to be good. It doesn't have to have tons of products. It doesn't have to have tons of pages. Even if you have one product, right? It needs to be clean. It needs to be web friendly for desktop devices. Somebody at home on their computer, on a tablet, and it needs to look good on mobile. So if anything that you're doing, you have to be testing on mobile just as a default, right? For example, for us, over 70% of our people, our leads, of our traffic is on mobile. So I'm really adamant when we build landing pages, when we build campaigns out, that it looks good on the mobile, because we know where people are at. People are shopping on their phones, right? So customers should be able to go there. They should be able to see your products easily, really understand what you offer. You need to be able to show them the pricing, and they need to be able to check out easily, right? So a lot of the different people that reach out to me, I look at their process, and it's super quick. It might take me 30 seconds, right? Somebody reaches out on Instagram and say, hey, I wanna make more money. How can I do it? And I go to their page, and it has nothing, their URL is not there. And if it is, I'll go to it, and it's a rotating image, and I can't buy anything, right? I'm bored by that time. It took me 30 seconds to be bored. So if you're not doing that and you don't have a clean price, then how is somebody going to shop? How's somebody going to buy from you? The main thing is that if you don't have an easy way for somebody to give you money, they're not going to give you the money. It's super basic, super simple, but it's something that I see that's going on all the time. Make sure you have a call to action. That means a call to action is something that you're telling the visitor to go do. So that's the flow. If you want them to come to your store, then make it easy to come to your store. Offer the map, offer the phone call. If you sell over the phone, make it easy to sell over the phone. Put the button that has you press the button and the phone number pops up, and boom, they're calling your office, right? That's an easy click to call. If you want them to fill out a form, make it an easy form. Make sure it's secure. Make sure you have CAPTCHA. Capture the basic information that you need from the customer to start on your selling process, right? So that's a call to action. You actually have to tell somebody, hey, if you want more information, go do this on my page. Call me here. Visit me here. It's super important that you clarify that for them. That way they don't have to do it, right? Now, next, I want to cover some pricing, right? What is the pricing of my customers? And I see this all the time. What should I be charging? These are the products that I offer. Like, are you wasting time quoting somebody over and over again that calls you or that sends you an email, right? That's a mistake, because if you don't have your price matrix, if you don't have your products, what you should be making and what you're charging, it makes it really hard for you to automate and scale any marketing campaign. You have to use a software that you can set up your pricing, set up your variables, and that every time somebody goes there, it does it automatically, right? You don't have to think about, oh, you know what do I charge for that? And do I have a discount for quantity, or do I have a discount for these colors or these sizes? Use a platform where you get paid first before printing, before fulfilling, before sending orders, right? People are used to that now. Here's our workflow solution. Go to workflow.net, check it out so that you can start receiving some orders online and get paid before somebody in your shop starts working on that order, and that's super important. Everybody has different schools of thoughts on what people should be making, right? But something that's super important, if you're not making at a bare minimum 70% of a gross margin on your products, and that's gross, that's like, you still gotta take your expenses from there, then you gotta rework your numbers. General rule of thumb, don't go selling things for no profit. I know that it seems basic, but a lot of people say, oh, we'll make it up in value, or people say, oh, we're gonna make it up in volume. You're not gonna make it up in volume, you're gonna lose in volume, right? So make sure you make money. Next, I want to go to section 2, which is social media and paid ads. If you're not on social media, you're just saying, hey, in a few years, I want my business to die, right? So I'm telling you this because it's a foundational step. You don't want to start marketing and spending money on paid ads without having your foundation in place. It's like building the roof of a house first and then the foundation. It's upside down, right? So that's why I'm making sure that I hammer this home. All your social media needs to get set up, every single platform. Right now, it's like the wild, wild west of marketing. You can reach somebody so easily. You can reach their demographic. You can reach, who they are, what they like. You can reach so many things that you couldn't before. And it's so underpriced. Right now, digital ads are so underpriced compared to what we could do in the past to actually target as many people as we can target with social media. So if you're not doing it, your business is going to fail. And I'm adamant about this because when the ad networks get more expensive, you're going to be priced out. And you had no experience, you had nothing that helped you, get your leads in, get your sales in, and start your marketing if you ignore this point. The other thing is that's super important. You say, hey, I got this. It's all set up. My wife's cousin's sister is handling it for me. She's my social media gal. She's my, my cousin handles it for me. But you can never get a hold of them. Your stuff looks like crap, right? Fire them, man. Fire them. Set up something that is professional, right? Use a professional. There's sites online you can go. There's Fiverr.com. There's Upwork, where somebody can do it from $5 to $50 for you, right? Professionally with all images. They can set up all your accounts. So why rely on somebody that's not reliable on your business future, right? You also have to think about something that's called intent-based search, right? Which means that, hey, somebody's looking for your product. I want a personalized t-shirt, and they go and they search it out, right? That's called intent. So it's saying that somebody's out searching for something and they're most likely to buy. And when you set up all your social media, guess what? They see in your area, it brings your search results, it brings your company up on the search results. Who shows up first most of the time? YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, right? You couldn't pay enough to have a search engine optimized keyword search for your website to be as high as up there, right? So that's another side benefit of setting up your social media accounts. In each platform, you'll actually reach different people. You'll reach different demographics. Certain people are, using different tools, right? So that's why you don't know what kind of customer you can get from each of the different tools, right? Don't get too worried about doing it. Just do it. The main goal is to set it up. The must-have platforms is Facebook. You gotta have Facebook business page. You gotta have Instagram for your business and your personal, because you gotta build yourself up as a personal pro in what you do. You don't know if you're somebody that's your friend or your family actually needs what you got to offer, right? So that's why you need both. You need to have a YouTube channel. You need to have LinkedIn. You need to have Snapchat. Oh no, Snapchat's just for teenagers. They're not really doing anything. They don't have any money. Well, it's a huge audience. You need to be there because if they want something, they'll go get the money from grandma. They'll pay you. You gotta have Yelp, you gotta have Twitter, and you gotta have some form of live chat on your pages. A lot of people don't want to talk to you. They just want to send you money. Your email system, right? If you're not sending out emails on a weekly basis at least, letting people know or building a list, email is still one of the highest converting tools that you can use to sell things online, right? So make sure you have a way that you're collecting lists. One big way is offering people value in exchange for their email address, right? You write an article about what they need. You give them free stuff, like this webinar I'm doing for free, right? So that I can send something to somebody and it could give them value, right? So it's super simple. Help somebody out and they'll send you the email address for free, right? And make sure that when you're setting up that you send from a professional URL, right? You gotta send from a professional website, from a professional email address so that people know it's trusted. Right now, from the gurus, it says it takes 22 days to buy something on average, and it takes people seeing it 32 times. So if you think that you're already doing enough by doing one post a month, you're not doing enough. In order for people to react to what you're selling, they have to see it 32 times. And it's going to take them about 22 days. That's what the internet gods say right now. So if you don't set up these accounts, how are you going to be able to deliver something so many times? By using these platforms, each different thing can be tuned a little bit, tweaked a little bit to fit the different audience. And now you're able to do the work to set up one webinar or to set up one guide, and then you have different platforms that you put it on. Paid ads. If you're not doing paid ads, then you're leaving a lot of money on the table, and that's one of the main reasons why I started with the foundational steps, right? Having a professional URL address, having your call to actions, making sure what your pricing is. What the hell are you selling? What are you selling, right? I wanted to start with those basics because none of this paid ads, none of this will work if there's not a place that's clean and easy and simple for you to send somebody so that they can go through your process and buy something, right? Some people have told me in the past, oh, paid ads don't work. I tried them and it's just, I spend money, no orders came in. And when I take a look at it, they're just sending somebody to an email address. They're sending somebody to a website address that doesn't even work, right? So how are you going to make money? So that's why the main foundations are important, and you have to set up paid ads only after you had set up your main foundational structure of how you're going to sell. Because paid ads could be magic. If you can put in $1 and get $5 if you can put in $1 and get $5 back, then why wouldn't you do it? And why wouldn't you do it in a big scale, right? If you did it and you failed, it's because something in the process was wrong, right? So the point is not to give up. A lot of people are in marriages and relationships, and some of them had ones that failed in the past. So good thing you didn't give up on those. You didn't give up on doing something new because something didn't work in the past, right? So the main point is look at what you're doing, look at what you're sending your customers, and then make sure that the foundations are set so that you can start doing a paid ad system, right? So the main goal of paid ads is that you can make and set up your process to just spend the first dollar, right? Because the goal of marketing is to get customers at a profit, right? So when somebody says, I failed, well, hey, the goal of marketing is not just to spend money for your brand, right? The goal of marketing is to do marketing and get customers at a profit. So marketing should never be an expense. It should not be an expense. You need Google AdWords. This is a platform that helps you, start doing paid advertising on Google. All the sponsored ads that you see all over the place, the display network that you see ads all over, that's set up by Google Ads and Google AdWords. So set up that account. If it's too complicated for you, find somebody online to do it. They'll do it for cheap. The main idea is to have a proper setup. The other account is your Facebook Business Manager account, because that's how you're going to run your Facebook, Instagram ads, right? You got to set that up. And if you're not going to sit there and figure out and actually get it done, pay someone, because by the end of the year, you got to think long term. If you didn't set it up, time flies, and you're not going to make any money, right? So, if it's going to cost you some money, but that your attention span is not there, that you're not interested in sitting there for hours figuring it out, then pay someone. When you set up these pillars, it'll help you really, really fine tune who the audience is that you are wanting to sell to, right? If you know that you have a certain age demographic that buys your stuff, those are the ones that come in your store, those are the ones that are sending you money all the time, you actually can narrow them down in those different platforms. You can say, you know what, I want to sell to males and females from 25 to 45. Those are the ones that buy. Then you set that up and you only serve ads to those people, right? So that clarifies who your customer is. That's why I told you in the beginning, who's your customer, right? Make sure you know who that is, because when we're doing paid ads, we got to know who they are. Like if you just met them in the elevator, you got to know who they are, so that you know how to service them and how to send ads to them and what your message is going to be, right? Well, I told you about a call to action. What are you going to ask them to do? So in paid ads, you got to do that. So these are your messaging pillars that you have to understand. Is once you're spending money on an ad, your message has to be clear, right? I'm selling this product for this amount of money, and then this is where you can get it. That's why it's so important to have these foundational steps set up. Now, retargeting. Retargeting is done. When somebody, you search for an appliance or you search for something last week, and all of a sudden you start seeing those ads. Like if somebody's following you around, well, the ad networks are kind of following you around. So you can either use that to your advantage for your business and start serving ads to people that have gone to your website, and that's what retargeting does. So if you have the same messaging that the customer saw on your webpage and they saw on your social media post, and now they're seeing it on their AdWords, so they're seeing it on a random page where they're looking at jet skis, but your ad comes out, then they're more likely to buy. That adds to those 32 touches I talked about, where they have to see your stuff 32 times to buy it, right? That's how these people are doing it. That's how a lot of people are making a lot of money online. Pillar 3 is tracking and analytics, right? What's working, what's not. It's the third pillar because you have to make sure that your foundational steps are set up, right? Pillar 1 and Pillar 2. Pillar 3, it's super, super important because if you're spending money already, if you have your ads set up, you're spending that dollar, you're scaling your expenses on reaching out to your audiences, then you have to track it. I track everything that we do, every single money that we spend, we have to track it. Because that's the only way that you know what works and what doesn't. Some of the tools for tracking that we use is Google Analytics. So everything that you do when you set up your page has to have a tracking code that's provided to you by your Google Analytics account. That gives you insight as who's visiting, where they're coming from, a lot of different things to help you refine that audience. Facebook has what's called a Facebook Pixel. It's just another tracking code that helps you understand who's seeing your ads, analyze each different page, analyze your offers, and helps you fine tune and save money. That's what you got to learn if you don't want to pay somebody. If you're paying somebody, these are the things that they'll need to help you track the account. Retargeting is set up on the audiences, right, on both of these platforms. So how do you know who visited your website? With Google Analytics and your Facebook Pixel and all these things. How do you know somebody's watching your YouTube video? Because of all these tools. You could also have unique pages, unique pages on your website. We call them landing pages. It's somewhere where somebody that's interested on a certain piece of your ad that goes there, and that's all they see, right? You don't confuse them with your About Us page and how we started and our history and careers and how you're hiring somebody. They told you by clicking on that ad that they didn't want any of that stuff. They just want some detailed information. It's called a landing page. In a landing page, you have a unique address to it so that you can know how it's performing, right? So we track that on Google Analytics. We also track that on a tool called Hotjar and VWO. That helps us see what our customers are doing, what your prospects are doing on your pages. You also can use things like ClickFunnels or Kajabi to make these landing pages. Chatbots like Zendesk for live chat, or ManyChat for if you want to automate some of the responses to your customers, you can do that. Click to call, right? Not only does it provide an easy way for somebody to call just by clicking your ad, they can call you, but people are getting lazier. They just want to click one button and you're on the other side of the phone, right? And these things also give you analytics on who's calling from where, and you can do a lot of different things with it. So if you put $1 into marketing, you gotta know how much came back out of it, right? And this is the main thing, is don't focus so much on how pretty stuff needs to be. At the end of the day, the main focus of this is to set up your 3 pillars, like do something and get these things done, right?